Well, President Donald Trump says the US is locked and loaded for a response to attacks on Saudi Arabia's oil facilities. He also authorized the use of the United States emergency oil stockpile to ensure oil continues to flow after strikes closed 5% of world's global crude oil production. President Trump says there is a reason to believe that the US knows the perpetrators of the attack. Rather than retaliate immediately, the president says he wants to learn the identity of the attackers from Saudi Arabia. Trump rejected report that he's still willing to meet Iran's President Hassan Rouhani unconditionally. Meanwhile, China calls it irresponsible to blame anyone for the attack without conclusive evidence. Speaking in Beijing, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hua Xiangwing appealed for calm and restraint. Russia also appealed for the international community to avoid any hasty steps. The Russian Foreign Ministry said it will be counterproductive to increase tensions around Iran. Well, for more on this story, we're joined by political analyst James Dorsey, who's in Singapore. James, thank you for being with us here on Indus. So the rhetoric out of Washington and Tehran has quickly turned into a reprisal of attacks. Do you think we're close to an armed conflict here?
Well, I think what you're going to see is that once the Americans and the Saudis have clearly established for themselves who they think was responsible for this and have some degree of evidence to back that up, you're going to see pressure, first of all, on the European Union to be more supportive of U.S. sanctions against Iran. The Chinese, the Russians clearly are going to oppose military action, but they're not the ones that are going to decide it. I don't think that either the Americans or the Saudis are going to look to the United Nations Security Council for approval of any military operation.
James, you mentioned the UN Security Council. How do you see the other permanent members of the Council reacting to the prospect of a military escalation?
Still wait and see. As a matter of principle, none of the parties, Iran, the United States, or Saudi Arabia, want a full-fledged war. On the other hand, of course, this attack cannot go without a response. I think what you're seeing in terms of President Trump saying he's waiting for verification, you've had the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo already say that he believes that Iran is responsible, but no evidence was provided for that. So the Saudis, in their investigation, are going to have to come up with evidence of who really was responsible for this and whether it was the Iranians or the Houthis in Yemen.
James Dorsey, thank you very much for your analysis. Well, for more on this, we're joined by Hamid Reza Ghulamzada, who's a political analyst from Tehran. Hamid, thank you for being with us here on Indus News. So Trump said that the US is locked and loaded. Is the Iranian government ready for an attack?
You know, there is not going to be any war actually, but if there is, in case of any war, an attack, yes, of course, Iran is ready. Iran has proved to be ready just a while ago when a spy drone of the United States intruded the Iranian airspace and it was downed by the defense system. And we know that it was a native one, so Iran is capable of defending itself, and it is very serious actually in defending its territorial integrity. So Iran doesn't seem to be worried about any intrusions or any wars or attacks. And I do believe that there is not going to be any. But in case of any war, yeah, Iran is prepared to defend it seriously and completely.
Hamid, you say Iran's ready, but what about the public? Do you think the sentiment in Iran is against US President Donald Trump's latest remarks about being locked and loaded?
No, Iranians are more making fun of them right now because they actually believe in the capability of the Iranian army and defense capabilities, and on the other hand, they have seen the recent events, and let's say they have a good historical memory. They have seen Iran fighting 8 years against the whole world, against Saddam, and they did actually give up and they could win the war. And they have seen all the difficulties difficulties. They have been under so-called maximum pressure sanctions for 40 years. I personally remember for American presidents saying that they are imposing most crippling sanctions on Iran, and Iran is not crippled.
Hamid Raza, thank you for joining us on Indus News. That was Hamid Raza Gholamzadeh, a political analyst in Tehran.